Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Council. It's Ladies' Night again. I got Natalia here. We're going to do something a little different this time. We saw different movies and we want to talk about them, so we're each going to review our movie. I'm going first. So I saw the Nicolas Cage movie called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I probably already messed that up. I think that's a terrible title.
Big, long title.
Yeah, I hate these long titles. I'm not a fan. It's a comedy, so I feel like as long as I don't tell you about jokes, I'm not going to spoil it. So I'm going to go over story points and just some things, but I don't think they're spoilery because it's a comedy. It's not like there's these big reveals and stuff.
Plot.
Oh, right. Well, there is a plot, but it's questionable. So what's the premise of this movie? Why did I go see this movie? Because normally this is not a movie I would see. So Nick Cage is playing Nick Cage. It's a version of him. How true to life it is, we don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm just saying, if you're a Nick Cage fan, you might know. So if you're a massive Nick Cage fan, this is a movie for you. But I don't think you have to be a Nick Cage fan to enjoy it, because I think he's just fine. He's medium to me. I was too young for some of his really big hits back in the 90s. I mean, I saw a couple of them because they were just massive. But I was so young, I couldn't have, I really should watch them now because I'm an adult. But
yes.
So Nick Cage is playing Nick Cage, and he's doing that, I was a star, or I'm still a star, but I'm a fading star. Oh, I'm in trouble money-wise. And he gets invited to a superfan's birthday party who happens to be a billionaire. And then shenanigans ensue, and it gets really silly really fast. So, just on that premise, I was like, okay, because I saw a trailer. It was a very short one. But I was like, I'm watching that. That looks fun. That looks kind of like Free Guy fun, or...
I was going to ask, was it as fun as the trailer made it seem?
It does, but I have to admit that it has some of that third act itis thing going on.
Gotcha.
So hopefully this doesn't ruin it for people, but the first 2/3 are very much a buddy cop. I mean, this is the new textbook definition. When you open up a dictionary and see bromance, it's going to be Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal.
Nice.
They are, you have to go just for these two.
Nice.
Their chemistry, their charisma. I am shipping them right now. I have figured out my next fan fiction. Okay,
yes.
This is how good.
Amazing.
They are not a couple in this, and I wish they were.
Aww.
I kept waiting for one of them to turn to the other, going, "I love you." I wanted them to pull a Brokeback Mountain. Only fun.
Only fun.
They do not.
Only age
but they should. Well, it is rated R, so it's not like this is for children.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, when it's just the two of them, because really they're the only two characters of Constance. There's other people, like Neil Patrick Harris is in here for a minute.
I saw Neil Patrick Harris
in here for a minute.
Yes.
And they're fine, but it's about Nick and Pedro. This is their movie. And I don't know, it's very meta. It's commenting not just on Nicolas Cage movies, but also how Hollywood works and how self-referential it is. And it's very about Hollywood. And it makes up these set of rules, but I feel like around the beginning of the third act, it almost like it's afraid to commit to this concept. And so it becomes the thing it's making fun of. And I don't know if it's on purpose, because it doesn't do it well. And I'm like, is that commentary? Because it becomes a Nicolas Cage movie for the third act. It's all action. It's silly. You don't hate yourself for watching it, but I'm like, I just want to see them.
You wanted a little bit more?
I just wanted them to be that, there's one thing they say in the movie where they go, "Oh, don't you hate movies where it's just two people in a room talking?" And I'm like, no, not when it's this movie.
Not when it's you two.
And then they also, because again, it's very self-referential. They're like, "Oh, well, I guess we should rewrite the movie and be that typical Hollywood ending because it's a blockbuster and then there's something for everyone." And then that's what they do. I do think the editing of the action scenes is really bad. Like the car chase, I'm all like, okay, this shot doesn't make sense with it. But that's only if you're. This is not a movie you're supposed to do that with. I just can't help it. But if you go and have your popcorn and just enjoy the loveliness that is Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal, you're gonna have fun. It's a short movie. It's not a big commitment. It's very charming. So even though this is Nick Cage's movie, I would argue that Pedro Pascal steals the movie. I went for Pedro. And he did not disappoint. There's a scene early on when they're first bonding, and they're by a pool, and he comes out in a Speedo, and he's wearing just a shirt over it, but nothing covering his legs, and he lays on one of those chairs.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're called either, but we know what we're talking about.
And so there's a shot coming from overhead, so you get a good look at his legs. And I was sitting there going, man, Pedro Pascal has really nice legs. So the bromance is awesome. If you love Nick Cage, this movie was made for you. It's almost like being John Malkovich, but not as highbrow.
Yep, gotcha. That okay, it's clicked.
Yeah. So it does something, I can't talk about it unless we talk about spoilers, but it does something where I'm like, oh, I thought you were gonna do this. But I guess in true Nick Cage fashion, when you think it's gonna zig, it zags. So I wanted it to zig and then it zagged. It doesn't ruin the movie. I was just a little like, oh, is that all that stuff you were doing right there? That's over? Because you don't know it's over until you finish. You're like, oh, we're not. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, because you said that it was so short, do you think that what am I trying to say? Like, could they have done the zagging instead of the zigging? Could they have tacked on another 10 minutes?
It's such a love letter to Nick Cage movies. And I'm like, maybe they feel like, well, it's not a Nick Cage movie without some action. So we have to do the gratuitous action stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it's really trying to say. That's why I think the title is such a problem, because I'm like, what are you trying to say with this movie? Are you making fun of Hollywood and how it falls into these traps? Or are you going to rise above it like a much better movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once? That's kind of doing the same thing, only it's wacky. Like that movie is not afraid to go there. This movie starts to go places like that, but then it's like it chokes and it's like too scared. It's like, wait, we can't be too crazy. We got to reel it in. And I don't want to reel in Nick Cage. That just doesn't seem.
That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
Did you want them to drive into the sunset in a nice, bright sports car, kissing each other?
Yes. Yes. I'm telling you, someone, I'm not an artist in that way. Someone please do some fan art, ship them. That's just, they are so good together. And apparently when they showed this at, it was one of those South by Southwest, like little darlings. In an interview, Pedro Pascal did reveal that he is a major Nicolas Cage fan. Not the way his character is, because when you see his character, he definitely goes to DEFCON 1. But
gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that helps a lot. I think these two were destined to be in a movie together. I was expecting more Thelma and Louise meets, I don't know, just something balls to the wall crazy. It almost goes there.
Yeah.
I still recommend it because it's a good time. If you just need something light, something fluffy, something that turns your brain off, you don't have to think about it too hard. I chose to think about it because of what they gave me initially and what I went in with my preconception. But it is a
you
fun
broke
time.
Your own rule, Constance.
I did. I always tell myself, like, don't think anything. Don't do this thing,
just
because then when it doesn't happen, it's not the movie's fault that it didn't do the thing that I was like, oh, it's going to do this. Well, it didn't say it was going to do that. I just inferred that.
You wanted it to.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not a bad movie. And I think, let me see, the current Rotten Tomato score is 88 as of filming this.
I have been wanting to watch it for a while because it looked fun. And Hannah and I, we watched like the Nick Cage Wired autocomplete video, and I was like, I forgot how much I love that man. So I'm like, it makes me want to watch it even more.
It's definitely for Nick Cage fans. I think if you don't like him, it might be hard to sit through because you might go, this is everything I hate about the guy. I don't know. I don't know if there's a Nick Cage hater group out there. If they're
so
out
much
there,
of a troll for the man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's very smart. The premise is so good. They just don't stick the landing. They almost. This is like the Olympics where, you know, a 16th of a point deducts you from getting the gold. I'm like, oh, you're right there, and you slipped. So it's very close. Very close. So that's my non-spoiler, hopefully, thoughts.
No, I mean, I feel like I will watch it. I will discuss with Hannah, and then we will see. Because we still haven't seen, which is what we're going to on Tuesday, because Hannah's been working very, very much, and Tuesdays are only free day. So we're going to go and see Everything Everywhere All at Once. We're so excited.
You should be. It's a lot.
It's a lot. That's what I keep. That's what I keep.
Everything Everywhere
all at once.
Now that's a title that matches what the heck is going on.
Yes, that's the one.
It's a lot of movie.
It's a lot of movie. Oh, I'm so excited. I guess it's my turn now. This is actually a show on Netflix. It's very short, 8 episodes, all a half hour long, 28 minutes. And Hannah and I watched it in the span of a night. We wanted Hannah needed to stay up until 2 a.m. for some Coachella thing. So we decided, we'll watch it. And we did. It's based off of a graphic novel um of two boys in high school, one who's gay and one who's figuring it out his sexuality. And it's just the cutest freaking thing in the world. I haven't read the graphic novel, my friend has, and we were watching it also at the same time, just about. And she was telling me that there are some things that were changed. And to me, as she told me, I was like, I don't really care, because like this is my own canon, because I haven't experienced the original. And I don't know, because I've already seen something and I haven't experienced the original, I'm just like, if I read it, then I'm probably going to be like, I don't know, like disappointed, I guess, in the changes, even though this changed that. Anyway, it was really cute. It felt so teenagey, like the communication of everyone like talking via like Instagram DMs, and him, the main kid, Charlie? I think his name is Charlie. I watched it in the span of like one night, and I have all of the scenes, but I can't remember any of the characters. Fun. I can't remember their names. I remember them, just not their names. Anyway, the main kid, it's like really small thing. He's just like sitting on his bed and he's like texting his friends, and he's just writing. He's like, he's so like chill, and he's writing in all caps. He's like, that's so funny. And then he like very slowly decides which words he's going to key smash. It's absolutely hilarious. And just like, I love the conversations of how they all are when they're texting, because it's just like, it's so real. It's so great. And everyone actually just feels like teenagers. And it's amazing. We have the so super fun homophobic bullies. And it's just, it's so sad whenever you watch it, because you're like, you're gasping, and then you're just like, oh, guys, look at the times that we're living in. You're still trying, you're still wasting your energy on doing this. It's so sad. And the main friend group of the main kid, he came out the year before, and then I think the end up boyfriend, spoilers, I guess, but like we all knew it was gonna happen. He, I don't know if he just, oh no, he's always been there. They just get seated together in like homeroom, and they slowly end up falling in love. But the friend group of the main guy, I love his friend group so much. There's one kid who's just always there reading some cool books. There is another kid who is I think he calls himself the obligatory straight friend. But he's fun, but then he also becomes like a bit of a dick, and he just like, he's like so blind to something that's in front of him regarding Charlie and Nick, the boyfriend. He and his like relationship with his friends, he really wants it to like stay the same. And then there's another friend, a girl who goes to the like sister school of the friends are all in an all boys school, and then there's an all girls school, and she goes there. She had just transferred. Surprise, she's trans. And she is also figuring out her new life, and she's trying to make friends with all the girls there. And also everyone is surprisingly homophobic. No transphobes, thankfully, but still homophobes. So I know, interesting, but quite the decision was made.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun to watch. The way that it was paced was really nice, because everything was like its own chapter. Again, I haven't read the graphic novel. I don't know if it's actually like that. But everything was paced out really well. And it was just so great to see the progression of all of these kids. And it was so good. I really recommend it. It's a super easy watch. Everything is like, you just block out like, let's see. it's like 4 hours total because everything is like a half hour and there's 8 episodes. Is that how math
That is
works?
short.
Yeah.
So I have a question. How heavy is it? Is it like 13
Oh
Reasons
no.
Why? Okay.
No. It's really like bright and neon, and that also extends to what's on screen and how the characters are. There's a lot of like the usual bullying and punching, and everyone's throwing the shit at each other. But there's a lot of great emotional and super like well written dialogue scenes between all of these kids together. And that's a lot of the part that I really like. Just some solid monologues that are really well delivered by these kids. Oh, and Olivia Colman's in it. And I know Olivia Colman plays Nick, the crush's mom. And my friend and I were so surprised to see her. And she did great. It was great. 10 out of 10 would recommend just for her. But it was really, really good. Highly recommend. Probably will be a season 2. And I did see that everyone, that again from like my friend who had read it, because everyone was like so excited because it had like a really nice happy ending. And then all the people who had read it, they were like, oh, damn, this next part's gonna be sad. And I don't know what they mean by that, and I'm kind of scared. So yeah, it's probably gonna get another season, and we're really excited. But yeah.
So it didn't adapt the entire story, just the first chunk.
Just the first chunk, yes.
Okay.
I feel like you should watch it. It's so cute. Watch it with a girl. The child will enjoy it.
Okay. I can do that because I mean, half hour only. That sounds very easy. So
it's really chill. Yeah. Guess. Is that it?
Well, that's it for those 2 things. You know, it's funny. The Northman also came out, but I had zero desire to see that.
And people are slowly eating that up.
Well, it depends on, again, like everything. It depends on who you talk to. There are people who are like, look at it trying to be irreverent so hard. I don't know what that means. Because to me, it looked more like 300, only Vikings instead of what was that? The Greeks, the Romans.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't care that Bjork's in it. I mean, that's great, but I don't care. But maybe we're wrong. Anyone watching, did you see the North End? Should we check it out and then talk about it next time? You know, because we have a little lull here for, you know, the big one. The next big one.
The first next big one. Yes.
Yes. So that is something to think about, or maybe we could find other hidden gems on streaming like this one. Heartstoppers, right? Is that
Heartstopper? Yes.
Okay, let's get that out there. Heartstoppers. That's what she's recommending.
Yes.
All right. So those are some thoughts. Any other things you want to put out there for?
We could probably do Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes. There's a lot to talk about.
I feel like that's good for everyone else who has seen it, because it'll give you guys probably an excuse to go see it again.
All right.
Which will be good for everyone involved.
It's not a single, I don't think it is a single watch. I do think you have to watch it. Like, if you really want to make sure you got everything, you're going to have to go again. So
good. I'm so excited.
It's a lot. It's a lot of movie.
It's all the movie. It's all the movie. Right at the exact same time.
Yep. And it does it beautifully. Michelle Yeoh. I mean, the whole cast. Don't let what anyone says about other cast members sway. No, they are all amazing. They're all amazing. So anyway, we'll talk about it maybe next week because more of us will have seen it.
Yes.
Who knows? But we like these short little rapid fire, like, hey, here's some thoughts. Are you looking for content? We got some thoughts. So there you go. Thank you for joining us today. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.